Thunder! 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 Thundercats! Ho!
We are back, Thundercats fans. Welcome to the Radical Retro Rewind Thundercats Reviews with your hosts Ryan and David. Today we are doing episode 108, The Tower of Traps, which aired on September 18th, 1985.
Dun 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 dun. So for me, this now is when you get to finally really get to meet Wilykit and Wilykat. So this is their setup episode for me.
Since they've been missing for 2 weeks?
Yeah, so I mean, you had the Cheetara one, you had the Lionel one, have we really had no, there is a Panthro one in the future, but that's in the future. The one I would really say Panthro-centric. Tigra had a main part in a few things, but...
And then in our next episode, the whole storyline involves around him, so we'll get to him, too.
Anyway, so this episode sets up Wilykit and Wilykat and their character, some of their abilities, although there was a part where Wilykit and Wilykat was up against Monkeyan earlier on,
yes. Episode
but this is very much Wilykit and Wilykat centric, so yeah.
Under Tiger's orders, the Thunder Kittens are mapping out the forest and surrounding regions. Suddenly, an uproar grabs their attention and they follow the noise to find 2 stone gargoyles in the process of robbing the old Wolo traveler. So
The Wolo
traveler. So the Wolo is another group of Third Earthians that we come across.
Who are also, again, very docile. They're like sheep people, right? Because Wolo...
That's why they're called Wolo, exactly.
Wolos, because they have like little sheep faces. They're cute.
They actually make a few appearances, but they are like sheepish. They're definitely not fighting characters. Using their fighting skills, Wilykit and Wilykat save the Wolo, but fail to stop the gargoyles from fleeing with the Wolo's bag, which contained a gold bracelet with 2 hearts intertwined. It was meant to be a present for the Wolo's daughter, whose wedding he was on his way to attend. The Thunder Kittens take on these like purple gargoyle dragon demons. We don't know where they come from, but we see that they are good-hearted, just like every other Thundercat, and they're trying to save this gentleman. He's on a donkey, right? I feel like every time we see this guy, he's on top of a donkey in the cartoon. Wilykit actually, she says she almost throws her back out. She does this like sonic ball. Like, she, like, turns into a ball at speed and, like, almost rolls into as an attack, which is kind of cool.
But she almost threw her back because she's hitting these stone figures, which are gargoyles.
Yes, so they're actually made out of stone. So another Third Earth creature.
So the Wolo basically says that it's Baron, the robber Baron, or whatever it is?
Yes, it is Baron Karnor.
This sounds so much like Lord of the Rings. Baron Karnor!
Yeah. So that's what it says. The twins learn from the Wolo that the gargoyles are under the control of Baron Karnor, a thief who resides in the Black Tower. Did he get the approval from Mumm-ra to be able
That's
to
probably why he did it that
Tower?
way. Black Tower. Mumm-ra said the HOA approved his Black Tower.
Well, the HOA has approved your designs. You must have it be black. Your Black Tower must reside next to my Black Pyramid.
There's
candy fruit. No candy fruit will be... will be planted.
I think Mumm-ra would like that, right? The doors will have to be painted the same in a homos association.
There are only 3 colors you can choose from. Black, matte black, or shiny black.
I prefer the shine to really pop.
So, the twins learn that the gargoyles steal from, basically, people around the areas, and the Wolos always go against these gargoyles. So the 2 young Thundercats make straight for the tower, but are bewildered when they find no entrance to it. While searching for a way in, Wilykit notices that Wilykat has vanished and is not responding to her calls. So he pulls something on a door, and he kind of gets snatched. He goes through a trap door.
Secret hatch or something, yeah. It's trap door.
So while this is happening, Lionel is taking a relaxing dip in a small pool by the cat's lair, and is alerted by the Sword of Omens about the Thunder Kitten's predicament. He quickly heads off for the Black Tower. I want to add during this, he tries to make Snarf believe that he has a cramp and he's drowning, and Snarf is so upset by this, and then when he does rescue him, he realizes a joke. He goes, "You got a mean streak in you. Where did I go wrong?" or Snarf.
Which is also, again, Snarf really loves him and wants to take care of him and takes his responsibility to keep Lion-O safe because Snarf hates water and he jumps in to save Lion-O because and again, that shows you that Lion-O is still a child in a man's body. I mean, do you really think that Jaga would be pretending that he's getting a leg cramp and drowning in a water pool? No, let's be honest.
Why didn't Jaga appear to him and say, Lion-O, you have no time for this?
Well, whatever. He was guinea dipping as far as I know.
You want to know the notes? This evidently made somebody very happy. They said this is one of the few times we got to see Lion-O bare-chested. In other episodes, he is seen. This is the only other episode he has seen without his blue vest with his chest out. Is mumm-ra while he's asleep. So someone took note of this. They actually say it showcases his not so often bare chest.
It happened.
So after he does this thing with Snarf, he quickly heads to the Black Tower, and upon arrival, he is informed by Wilykit about her brother's disappearance. Retracing Wilykat's steps, the two try to pry open one of the rusty door handles, and a trapdoor opens from under their feet and they drop into it. The two cats end up inside the Black Tower, and upon calling for Wilykat, they learn from his response that he is caged and is very high up in the building.
No elevator, people. No Tower of Terror for you.
It's very, what would you call it?
A lighthouse? Oh my god, were you even born, or were we kids when we went to the Statue of Liberty and I almost fell off the stairs of the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah, you went by yourself. You and Michael.
So we went to the Statue of Liberty and they were working on it before they put elevators in, and literally you're walking up the statue and the steps just stop and there's a drop and you would drop down. Literally, there was no rope or anything. I could have fallen. I was smart enough because I was that type of kid, always cautious about things, where I legit could have fallen off the steps.
It just
literally
ends.
Just
it's like the steps to nowhere, basically.
Yeah. So that was it.
So there's things like in this place that the stairs, each one has something on it. There's something sticky on one of the stairs. Wilykit gets her feet stuck. Some of them, the steps turn into fold up and you fall down. It's like every step, everything has something. Beginning their ascent to the Black Tower, Lion-O and Wilykat face a horde of booby traps, including a trick staircase, a ravenous octopod, an extending chasm, laser beams firing statues, and giant swinging blades. Whew.
The pit and the pendulum.
1000%. There is definitely a homage to there's pendulum swinging. Lion-O in this instance, David, uses the sword as a vaulting pole to get up the stairs at one point. So he says, ho, the sword extends, and he and Wilykit vault over the staircase before they get separated.
Call me when you want me, call me when you need me. Get the pole out.
Wilykit says something like, it's acid! And I'm like, of course it's acid. There's acid coming down in places. They're hearing Wilykat speaking to them. Every time they're in another room, and they get separated at one point, and they're both going through their own attacks, booby traps. So the whole time I'm thinking he's hearing them screaming and going through this. Oh, I would be like, oh god, I hear Wilykit and Lion-O screaming. I mean, anytime they just go, Wilykit! He answers them from up above somewhere in a cage. But after successfully passing through all the traps, the two cats reach Wilykat and free him. A nearby door suddenly opens by itself, and a strange voice invites the trio inside. I thought it was the voice from the Haunted Mansion in Disney World. It sounded like, enter!
Enter! Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Haunted Mansion.
They enter the room, which is filled with stolen loot. Gargoyles have amassed for the Baron over many years. Also in the room is Baron's corpse, still sitting in his throne. They realize that the inviting voice was nothing more than a recording when the doors shut, locking the trio in a treasure room. So David, isn't it weird that they had the technology that this was literally like a...
One-Eyed Willy.
What? There you go, the Goonies again, buried with his treasure. Yeah, but the recording, the tape was actually a tape recorder.
Was it or was it magic?
It looked like it had tape and everything.
Again, remember when mumm-ra said, I remember when this was first Earth.
Yes,
so,
we're always reminded with that.
We're reminded with the fact that this is, so maybe there's leftover technology. It's like Thundar the Barbarian, which I absolutely love that show, by the way, too.
Well, that's another world that's been destroyed by an apocalypse, right?
But there's still stuff that worked from way back when. So I guess it could work. I mean, it was. But here's the thing: you have a kind of a tape recorder thing, but then you have gargoyles that have to be magically enchanted.
Yes.
So
it's like the mix of magic,
science
and sorcery. At one point, Lion-O says, "I'm getting to know you, Baron," which is so true because everything was a trick in this. And these gargoyles, so we get a part where they're attacked by the gargoyles, and the gargoyles' voices literally sounded like a cat screaming, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," continuously, "Yeah."
But is this like similar to the gargoyles in She-Ra when she has to speed up time to screeching? So is it similar to that? You know what I'm talking about.
Is like
when
that,
she has to speed up time to help
the
Queen
clock.
Angela
Yes.
with the moons while Shadow Weaver attacks her. If anybody that knows, they always seem to be like assaulted cats sounds screeching.
Assaulted cats is exactly what it sounds like. So they realized the inviting voice was nothing more than a recording when the doors slammed shut, locking the trio into the treasure room. All seems lost when a small panel opens in the ceiling and one of the gargoyles drops the Wolo's wedding bracelet into the room. Seeing as it's their only exit, Lion-O and the Thunder Kittens climb out of the same opening in the roof. Before they can take a breather, the gargoyle statues spring to life and lunge at them with those cat screams. Lion-O uses the sword to call for help, and the Thundercats arrive swiftly. I love this. Chitara's staff, for the first time, she rams it into the ground, and then multiple staffs spring out from it. So it's like it attacks the person in front of her from all angles. A parade of sticks coming at you from the ground.
Yeah, it like opens up like a flower with petals, like it's different directions.
So again,
cool.
Their attacks are just fantastic.
Well, they're progressing.
Yes.
Well, there's also instances when you need it and when you don't, I guess. But again,
are
those weapons inherently magical? Because you've never seen Chitara's staff rake. You've never seen Tigra's bolo whip snap. You've never seen the nunchuck that Panther
They must
uses.
have, they must have some kind of
infused, because Jaga gave it to them, right?
Yes, he gave them with the clothes in the pilot episode. They dispatch the stone nuisances. After the victorious Thundercats are driving home in the Thunder Tank, they make a stopover at the Wolo village where wedding celebrations are in full swing. Wilykit and Wilykat return the bracelet to the Wolo traveler, who then presents it to his daughter, which was nice. I like that they tied that in, that they got the bracelet back. We saw this somewhat peaceful, at least momentary peaceful celebration on Third Earth with the wedding.
The whole thing is too is that you just showed the Thundercats are not greedy. Someone else would have just ripped open that tower now that everything was resolved as far as.
Don't think that mumm-ra's not going to go in there
and thrown the gold everywhere. Think about it.
I'm assuming, I guess, whoever goes through this would have to go through the traps as well again. So
well, okay. So did the Baron die of natural causes, or did he die because he locked himself in his own tower? Was he a victim of his own greed, or did he just pass away of natural causes and sat there like one-eyed Willy?
That's a good question. I think it almost is like he sat there. But I do love when they reveal the corpse's face. It's like scary, like everything like that mumm-ra, like they draw the corpse scary as well. They also actually redid this episode in Thundercats Raw, the reboot, the recently canceled reboot. But they ended up, it was like, I think a fly inside the Baron's eye socket was like controlling all of this. But they literally did the homage of this Tower of Traps episode, which is out of all the episodes to do.
Somebody liked it.
Some facts about this episode is these are the stone statues that are featured in this episode as the gargoyles will be featured in a season 2 episode as the Guardians of the Soundstone. So they must have reused that design later on. When avoiding the laser shooting statues at one point, Wilykit employs a new maneuver of rolling into a tight ball and spinning rapidly out of the beam's way. This same style would be utilized by her
like Sonic
against
the Hedgehog.
Jackalman in another episode. It is a Sonic the Hedgehog role. We talked about earlier how we get to see the not so often bare-chested Lion-O. The name of the monster that Lion-O encounters in the tower is never mentioned in this episode. However, the script refers to it as the Octopod. One of the traps that Wilykit encounters in the Black Tower are a series of giant pendulum-like swinging blades. She manages to avoid all of them except for the last one, where she falls after stumbling. As a nod to this episode, the rebooted 2011 Thundercats episode called Into the Astral Plane, so that's the serious take, had a similar scene in which Chitara is faced with a similar task. And despite being animated at Pacific Animation Corporation in Japan, the look of the show was designed to appeal to American viewers. Nevertheless, sometimes a little bit of popular Japanese anime style did make its way into some episodes. The scene of which Wilykit stumbles and falls after passing the giant pendulum shows her face with a very anime look. I like that. And so the ending of this episode, we do get to see Snarf and Lion-O kind of make up for his little trick earlier, because he tells Snarf that he realizes why he's so worried about him, and it's because he feels the same way about Snarf. I thought that was so cute.
And because he learned a lesson by thinking that Wilykit and Wilykat were going to die alongside him, possibly.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, that definitely helps.
Life and death situations really do change your perspective on things.
A little slower this week with this episode. There really wasn't too much going on. Like, I wish almost like some of the plots from last week
Build over,
because I do feel like this is one of the less liked episodes of the series. It is early on. I mean, this is only episode 8, but going by the other episodes that we've gotten prior, it is a slower, more mystery-oriented episode.
You just wanted him to pass by Willa and say, "Don't go to the Tower of Trap, the Black Tower, the Black
Baron Karnor.
Where in the world is Carmen San Diego?"
You know, something. Give us a mutant. Give us Slives slithering about. Give us monkeying about. Mumm-ra flying overhead going,
Is that Baron dead yet?
I remember.
He owes me some money. Back tax, back HOA fees.
So the Baron.
Don't make me. I'm going to foreclose on his Black Tower.
He should at this point.
I haven't checked in many centuries.
So, a slow episode for the Thundercats. I guess the most exciting thing was Lion-O's bare chest that had to be noted twice into our notes, and...
It was Lion-O's bare chest. It explained that Wilykit and Wilykat also...
I mean, they're capable.
They're capable on their own, as well as they do uphold the Code of Thundera, where they want to help this Wolo, lamb sheep person, which are also very docile. Again, now you have another set of beings that the Thundercats have to take under their wing and protect them to some degree. They feel obligated to be protectors because they're strong, and the Wolos are not so strong.
It makes you wonder how these creatures even survived leading to this point.
They barely did. Really, honestly, they're always seem very downtrodden most of the
time. Everybody. Oh yes, these especially the Wolos they even have issues in the future. That was this week's Thundercats review. You could find us at Universal Appeal 2020, all one word for David. The Radical Retro Rewind Podcast, all one word. The Radical Retro Podcast on YouTube. Thank you again for listening to us. We're so happy that you're sticking along with this journey, and we will be back again with more episodes soon.
Peace out.
Thank you guys.
Bye.